Yes, welcome elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. We did it. We are live for the first time, not even just inside this Facebook group, which we often bring exclusive content right inside this group for you, elite entrepreneurs pursuing business ownership or involved in franchising in some way already. But we are for the first time right now live on 3 different platforms all at the same time. So welcome those of you join us on LinkedIn. Welcome those of you join us on our YouTube stream as well. Drop your comments in the chat as well. Let us know where you're joining us from. Drop where you're from and maybe a little bit about if you're in franchising or something. So excited to have you guys with us. Make sure throughout the podcast, throughout the show, you're dropping your questions live for us in the comments. Be happy to get those to our guests today because this is a big one today. This is one of the biggest ones we've been able to do. We've had the pleasure of doing. Real excited about this opportunity for so many of you because many people I talk to are looking for brands that have that name, have that brand name, that have that market share, that are a proven concept. They have a long track record. And I almost can't think of a better one than this today. Our guests today with the brand Huntington Learning Centers. And man, they're leading the way in student tutoring and education. And I mean, I could say so much about them. I'll save it for the interview, but they have received award after award just because of their recognition, who they are and what they've done. From the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame, year after year awards to Newsweek, recognizing them as America's best customer service Franchise Dictionary, a top game changer award, Franchise Business Review, top recession proof award, and most recently, actually this past year, on the Entrepreneur Top 500 list, like a pretty exclusive and honored list to be a part of. They ranked number 130 on that list. That's insane. There's like over 8,000 opportunities worldwide. To be ranked 130 is just bonkers. So, and today we have the pleasure of bringing on the president herself, Anne Huntington Sharma, inside Fran Opps Live, and she oversees this business. I mean, she oversees business and growth strategies, including partnerships and marketing and digital and then tech transformations and more. And even beyond this, I mean, her rap sheet is incredible. She's been for example, she's like on the side an associate producer of different documentaries like The Price of Everything on HBO and the Art of Making It. She's also been involved with the IFA, International Franchise Association. She's also been a part of the NYC's Coalition for the Homeless, Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum, and like just a number of other crazy things that she's got her hands involved with. She's been a former board member of the Learning Disabilities Association of America. And she's been a founding member of the Future Leadership Council at the Whitney Museum and has also raised over $30 million for different philanthropic causes. This woman is a powerhouse in business. You might have seen her in the Franchise Times or Business Insider or the Smart CEO or the Apollo magazine, or maybe you've seen her as the Woman of Wonder listed by Franchise Dictionary, or maybe you've seen her on Fox. I mean, she's been all over the place, and she has received award after award, recognition after recognition. And so, man, it is just a joy and an honor of mine to be able to bring in the one and only Anne Huntington Sharma of Huntington. This is Fran Opps Live.
Join the leader in supplemental education. Huntington Learning Center franchises offer the perfect blend of community impact and business growth. With nearly 50 years of experience, Huntington's time-tested approach ensures that you're investing in a stable and effective franchise system. Help students achieve their academic goals while building a business that makes a difference in your community. Visit our franchise website to learn more about how you can become a Huntington Learning Center franchisee.
Anne, we made it. You're here. Welcome to Fran Opps Live, man. What a pleasure and a joy of ours to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for enabling me to share Huntington's story. It's a true honor and a humbling intro. That was quite amazing. Thank you.
Well, honestly, Anne, I could have spent the next half hour just continuing to read off like your resume of just accomplishments and things you're a part of. And so it's impressive, of course, but it's so cool to be able to connect with people in franchising that just have a heart, not just for business, but for people, and to make an impact on this world. And that's clearly who you are. And so it's exciting to just connect and get to know some of your story. So yeah, I want to hear the Huntington story as a whole, but really I want to hear some of your story. Like, the name is in your last name. And so let's start with just you. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got to where you are today as president of this company.
Oh, great questions. And hello live on 3 platforms. So kudos to you for going live. I believe you said on your channel, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So hopefully folks can really hear our message. So I am Anne Huntington Sharma. I'm the president of Huntington Learning Center. And as you shared, yes, my middle name is Huntington. Dr. Ray and Eileen Huntington started Huntington Learning Center in June of 1977. So Huntington Learning Center is coming up on its almost 50th year. We're in our 40th.
That's insane.
It is insane. So Eileen was a tenured teacher. She was doing really well. She was helping students succeed. And Ray was a statistician at AT&T, which at the time was the largest employer. So they had a really good life set up. They had a mortgage, they had a house, they had great jobs. And what they did was probably what some of the audience is thinking about. They wanted to do something for themselves. And so they had a dream. Eileen saw in the classroom that students needed help. So they started with one center in June of 1977. By the next year, Ray quit his job and they opened their second center, both of which are still in the same towns. And then
Really?
from there, they grew from 1 to up to nearly 300 today. So when they weren't opening Huntington Learning Centers, they did have children. And so I like to say I'm center number 17. So that's where I stack up in prioritization. I have a brother who's
Oh,
no
that's funny.
longer a part of Huntington Learning Center,
Yeah.
though he is no stranger to franchising, and he's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I joined Huntington Learning Center before it started franchising. I was born before
Oh, okay.
1985, which is when
Gotcha.
Huntington Learning Center started to franchise. So this is actually our 40th year in franchising. So you shared in the intro,
Wow.
we're part of the Hall of Fame. So one of the great
Yeah.
aspects in franchising is you want to look for a franchisor who knows a thing or two, who's been around the block.
Right.
And I have to say we are one of those, if not the only one in this category who's been doing it as long as we have. I like to say I'm center number 17, and then I was a student at Huntington. I was in the quintessential 90s marketing campaigns.
So like you went through it yourself?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. And then I worked in our call center. So if you call 1-800-CAN-LEARN, you might even speak with yours truly. And then had a career outside of Huntington Learning Center, focused in the art industry for about a decade before joining back, first as a consultant, and then over the past 10 years have worked my way up to president, and I've been leading the charge since 2019 as the president.
Wow, good for you. Just in time for COVID to hit.
There you go. Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah. We didn't see that one coming. So
none of us did. If you did, that would have been impressive.
Yes.
Or maybe something was wrong when you asked you about it. But where did you mentioned art too? Because I know you've done a number of things in that lane. Where did that love and desire for art come from for you?
It's been innate since I was a little child. I was collecting precious moments and postcards and everything and anything. And there's a fine line between collecting and hoarding. I'm not sure where I fall on that. So then over time, I'm a very aesthetic person. So I studied art and got involved in that world. And the neat part is that you can wear a lot of hats within the art industry. You can work in it day to day. You can be involved as a collector. You can be an artist. So there are so many different ways to stay involved. And it's important for me to also have passions outside of the family business. So that whole journey has changed over the years. Nonetheless, my two loves are education and art.
Yeah, so good. Is there and do you connect art with the Huntington Learning Center experience at all, or is it just a separate thing for you altogether?
It's division of church and state. You never know what the future has in store, but one of the reasons why we are world class and we are the best in what we do is we truly focus on what we do really well, which is building skills, confidence, and motivation. So I don't want to rock that boat or change the secret sauce. It's working well, and it gets tremendous results for our students and our franchisees alike.
For sure. Well, dive into a little bit for me then. Tell us a little bit about what Huntington Learning Center really does. It's a learning center. What does that mean? You mentioned you help with skills and some other things, but unpack that. What does the brand really do?
So we change lives each and every day. We are able to have students who may never have had self-esteem or self-confidence, and we truly change their trajectory. So our mission since day one in 1977 has been to give every student the best education possible. And that's our guiding light. That's what we do each and every day. How we do it, we're not a cookie cutter type of solution. We're not necessarily skill and drill. What we are is we get to the root of the issue. We start with a diagnostic test, which we call an academic evaluation, which pinpoints exactly where the student is. And then we share that with the family. So the family then knows where their student is
Okay.
and what it means to get them to grade level or whatever or wherever that family wants the student to be. And we provide a plan. And then that plan then is created, and that's what the student does at a Huntington Learning Center. We're typically K through 12, and we're typically tutoring and test prep after school. So tutoring is that learning center basic skills, phonics, reading, writing, math, subject specific, which would be chemistry, biology, and then test prep like SAT or ACT.
Oh, okay.
And then there are also state specific tests. So it's awesome what we do, and we do truly change lives in a matter of like 50 hours. So think just like a work week, we can help a student go up over 2 grade levels. Imagine that.
Oh, wow.
A student who's potentially going to be retained, or a student who's in special education and then is able to, in a pretty short period of time, get on honor roll. Or that student who's average, then all of a sudden goes to honor roll or beyond. So because we're all individualized, we can really meet the student where they're at and then build that plan.
Yeah. So are like the people that Huntington Learning Center serves, the youth that they serve, is it because like, are the majority of them coming from parents coming to Huntington Learning Center going, my kid is struggling and needs help here? Or are most of them coming in going, we would love to give our kid more opportunity and to get ahead of the game? How does that typically work?
Right. It's case by case, right? That's the big marketing question. Who are our parents? And what we do is we always survey our parents, and we survey the general public as well. We just completed a survey with YouGov that really shared with us what the customer is looking for and what the feel is. And so struggling today might be different from when we were struggling in school, because the language may have changed and the schools may have changed. So families come to us really when there's a frustration point or when there's a specific goal. So if it's test prep, for example, you know when you're going to take the SAT or ACT. And then so you start investigating providers. And we do really well. Our students on average will get over $71,000 in scholarship opportunities and go up over 5.4 points on the ACT and 229 points on the SAT. So you start investigating when it's that. When you're talking about the Learning Center tutoring, you know, there are critical moments. So there is a seasonality to it in terms of when parents meet with their child's tutor, or pardon, their child's teachers. So there might be warning signs, but it's really, there's truly is a frustration point or I don't know how I'm going to help my child. I need to go someplace. So there is that level of when there's the call to action. But not to worry for a prospect franchisee. We teach everything that I just shared. So an individual doesn't have to come to us knowing everything about education and everything about marketing. We share all of that in our really comprehensive training program. So it sounds like, oh my gosh, there's so much, but really we go back to basics to make it as simple as possible for our franchisees. Yeah,
it's like, are you guys, okay, let's do this. What kind of owners are you looking for? And are they the ones that are doing the tutoring? And if so, if not, like, how does the tutoring stuff work too? Do you have to hire geniuses, or like where do they come from, you know?
Right. So in terms of the tutor, the most important characteristic is empathy and kindness, actually, because yes, of course you have to go through background checks and you have to be qualified and certified, and you have to go through teacher training and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, the care and the concern is the most important, because think about it. If a student has not seen success in school, they might be like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go someplace else to learn more. I know how that feels. But then they come to Huntington Learning Center and it's a totally totally different feel. All of a sudden they get stickers, they get a certificate, they feel good, they believe that they can learn. And that is the most important. In terms of our franchisees, we are an owner operating system.
Okay.
We have now, again, we've been franchising for 40 years. So we've gone through all the different iterations. We've tried the semi-absentee, we've tried all different types, but what we find our best franchisees are those who are active in the Huntington Learning Center. At least at first. We have some folks who are multi-unit and now they are absentee. However, they started in the Huntington Learning Center, so they can see for themselves that success. And then that franchisee may not be tutoring. They would hire the folks who are competent in the certain product line to tutor the students. And we have systems and procedures that then help the tutors then teach the students as well. And teachers love us because all the teacher has to do is come on in and do what they love to do, which is teach. They don't have to meet with families. They don't have to figure out the lesson plans. That's what the franchisee and the franchisee's full-time staff does.
Yeah. So is this then mostly like after school and after work kind of stuff? Or like if I'm interested in doing this, is this if I'm owner operator, I'm making this my full-time thing. What I'm hearing is like, owner operator in my mind means you're doing this 40, 50, 60 hours a week. But it also sounds like most of the work of working with your clientele, your students, is going to be after school or on the weekends. And so talk to me a little bit about that.
So in terms of what a schedule looks like, right, especially at first, it's your business. So in franchising, if you're listening to this and you're new to franchising, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. That's the slogan of franchising. So within Huntington Learning Center, you are the owner, you are the face, you are the ambassador of Huntington Learning Center in your community. So when students aren't in your center, you need to get out into your community, go to the schools, meet with PTA, meet with different organizations that make sense, do that local marketing to really ensure that folks know that Huntington is a community partner, your neighborhood Huntington Learning Center, and then so families also know. So you really get into what you actually put in. You get out what you put in. So at first, yes, it is like a commitment. But we have some folks who, like I said, they started in it and they're multi-unit and they decide to stay behind the scenes and they hire the staff. But at first, it's your business. You want it to grow. So you want to be invested in it and, quite frankly, see the success within it. And the success stories are just remarkable. And to be able to make that impact and do well financially is just a win-win for a potential franchisee.
Right. What success stories come to mind for you? Just like, you have, how many franchisees are in your system? And then of those, like, which ones are like the stick out to you that are like, man, these are some cool stories?
Oh, all of them are amazing folks. We really do have a wonderful, wonderful franchise community. We have about 260 or so franchisees, about 300 locations, give or take. Wow. I think it's a little less than that right now, but we are in growth mode. So let's talk next year and we'll figure those numbers out.
Okay. All right.
In terms of, it's May 2025 right now. So we just, it will come out in July, but we have an award for one of our franchisees. And he truly is a rock star because he was, his parents started his Huntington Learning Center. So he was a student at Huntington and now he's leading the charge and he has taken over his family business and now his kids are enrolled in the center and he's just so involved in his community. Awesome. And he's so involved within the whole Huntington community as well, really putting the best interest of the franchisees forward and having really constructive conversations. And he's just an awesome, cool guy. He's one really great success story. And because we've been franchising for 40 years, that happens where that generational wealth actually the next generation has taken over it. In his case, 3 generations are involved. Another one, we have this wonderful owner in the Chicago area, and she was a parent at a Huntington Learning Center, and then she saw an opportunity to open a take over a Huntington Learning Center. Both her children went through Huntington.
Like took over the one that her kids went through?
Not that one, but another one. In Chicago, we have quite a large number.
Yeah, I bet.
One of her children went to Stanford. The other one went to Vanderbilt, and she just saw the real results. And she was doing really well professionally, and she decided to take her financial professional career in her own hand, and also do really well by helping more families like Huntington helped her. And that's across the board. And so I can go on and on all day long. And we have some folks who may have been struggling, and then they see an opportunity to partner with schools. And there's such an opportunity with public-private partnerships, especially right now, 5 years post-COVID, with all the learning loss and different types of opportunities from funding sources. So we have one franchisee who wasn't doing great, and then all of a sudden he was able to, through the consistent partnerships and going to the schools and having those relationships, now he's one of the top performers in the system because he believed in Huntington. He continued to have those relationships, and now he's truly, truly helping the districts in his community at a really large scale, like think hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Goodness. Good. I love these stories of they came through it. They experienced it. Their kids did too. And just the idea of the generational impact that Huntington's having, because you've been in franchising 40 years, been around for 50 years. Like, that's the goal, not even franchisees. I think that's the goal for a lot of franchisors. Is this dream. It may not be a metric that they're actually measuring, but this dream of how do we create something so sustainable and so valuable that we are impacting generations for years to come. And that's you guys are doing it. And so incredible. Tell us then, what does what's the investment look like now to get into a Huntington, just like a single unit? Because I assume you're not looking for multi-units out of the gate. It makes it hard for the owner operator in a sense. But what does a single unit kind of investment look like?
Sure. Single unit investment. So liquidity needs to be over 100,000, I think 110. And then net worth has to be at least 200,000. To open a new center is just under 160,000 to just under 300. It's like 159,367 to 298,357 per our most recent FDD. Our initial franchise fee is $36,000 for a very limited time. Since this is live, I will say it. We are just launching right now a reduction in that initial franchise fee. So you can get in at $19,000 for the initial franchise fee. So
it's like half almost, as opposed to 36, you said, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're really incentivizing folks to join Huntington Learning Center. And of course, if someone's super, super aggressive and wanting to potentially open more than one, we'll have that conversation. Our goal is to make sure that the franchisee is successful. So sometimes we sound a little bit hard on a potential franchisee because we want them to be successul. And we want to ensure that they understand the product before they really spread themselves too thin.
Well, I love that. Just it seems like you mentioned earlier that some of the biggest markers that lead to success is actually empathy and kindness, as opposed to an IQ or their intelligence level. Like, can the person be empathetic and can they be kind? And of course, there's other things that are in play there, but those are the two most important. And I love that that's such a big focus because it seems like that even comes from that. I think that's driven from leadership. And so if you're watching this right now live or later on another date, and you're looking for something with a cultural fit, that is a big deal to you. Because even like you mentioned, Anne, in one of the success stories, you mentioned your franchisee that is heavily involved in the community of Huntington franchisees. So clearly there's a lot of community there. And if that's something you our elite entrepreneurs listening are looking at and are wanting to find, man, you might not have set out to think Huntington Learning Centers or want to get into, tutoring students or whatever. But like if you're looking for a cultural fit that is based on empathy, kindness, caring for people, and making an impact, making a difference, this could very well be the one for you. Even still at the end of the day though, right? And it like people can't put food on their kids' table. They can't build generational wealth. They can't get the financial freedom just on empathy and kindness alone and on the desire to make an impact. Those are great things. So what does like the financial success look like for franchisees? Is something that you guys are tracking? You're trying to you come down hard on franchisees for so they can be successful, but what does that look like? Can you talk to us about the item 19 at all within your FDD and what that kind of looks like?
Sure. So the franchise disclosure document is really a great resource to find out all the specifics. On average, the latest franchise disclosure document shares that our centers and revenue will bring in just under 600,000. So it's 589,575, which is just tremendous. And then we go into detail in terms of the high 25%, the low 25%, and what
good.
folks make. So like our high 25% make over $1 million. Low make less than the average, obviously.
Yeah. Which is normal. If for any company that's been around for any length of time, especially someone who's been around 40 years in franchising, you're going to have those situations, those examples. So.
Yes. And I will say empathy and kindness are super, super important. And they're really important with the student. And then from our franchisee and our vision is world-class student results and franchisee profitability. So it's a business as well. So, you said it right. Like, kindness isn't going to put food on your table, though it will help. But nonetheless, we at the franchisor level, we try and be as fair as possible. And we're really by the book. So you're buying a business, you have a franchise agreement, and we stick to that because, that's how we're able to still be franchising 40 plus years later.
Yeah, that's so good. I love it. You guys clearly have been around long enough you have a science for this of how to help others teach science as well as other subjects as well, and just make an impact in the community, in the lives of others, in the lives of students and youth, and that clearly have made a difference. My last question for you, Anne, as we kind of wrap up, is and hang on till the very end, audience, just because I wanted to show you a little bit of what some of their franchisees are saying about why they got into this. So hang on, because I got a short video for you. And my last question is, why should an elite entrepreneur, an empire builder, why should they really consider Huntington over some of your competitors? Because although Huntington's been around a long time, they're not the only one, right, in this kind of tutoring and investing into youth space. So why? Because there's some other big name ones too, and then some upcoming ones. So like, why should they consider, if they're on the fence, what would you say to them as why they should consider your brand over someone else?
Huntington Learning Center is the best. We are the best, and we get results, and we're not afraid to share them. Yes, we've been around a long time, but we're future forward in our thinking and what we're doing. We're investing millions in AI. We're investing millions in technology, and we're focused on growth within the system, but really methodical growth. So in terms of why, we're the best, and we're world-class in terms of what we do, and we really care about our community and about the franchisee's success. So yes, of course, there are different options, but even consumers who bring their children to Huntington, a lot of the consumers have tried our competition and they haven't worked. Guess what? We work, bottom line.
Come on, Anne. That's so good. Preach. I love it. So good. Genuinely, thank you so much. And guys, if you're watching this right now and you want to learn more, you want to see really, I think the biggest issue might be if your territory is even available with how expansive this network is. But if you're interested in learning more, seeing if you qualify, we dropped a link in the chat. You can click on that and begin there, or do this. Type in the comments right now, type in the hunt. Okay, type in the hunt and we'll get started. If you are ready to get in the hunt and be a part of Huntington Learning Center, so want to learn more. It's not saying you're signing your name to the dotted line yet. There's still several weeks and a few months before you can make that decision. But if you are curious enough to just raise your hand and say, tell me more, I want to get started, type in the hunt. And remember, there's an exclusive offer right now. I like to say it's just for this audience as a deal on the franchise fee, but we'll extend it a little bit for those of you who are watching this a little bit later, but not too long. It's not going to last forever. So right now, type in the hunt in the comments below, and we will get the conversation going and begin that conversation of, is this a good fit for you? So, and I do have one question that came in. Would love to ask if I can. I want to throw it your way. Okay. The question is this: what is the average time, or is there an average time that takes to reach profitability?
Ooh, that's so. It really depends on a lot of the So if it's for a new center, a lot of it is dependent on what that franchisee does from a marketing standpoint.
Okay.
We have great success stories with franchisee who are able to be profitable very, very quickly because they followed the playbook. They did all of their ground marketing plus more. They built out all those relationships. So it's really, and this is the neat part about franchising, it's really up to you and what you put into it.
Right.
But we do spell out a lot of that in item 19 as well, in terms of when you're break even and all that. So, and then also the neat part is when you're going through your franchise development journey with one of our directors, you speak with current franchisees who can share with you their success story, which they can disclose, of course.
Yeah, so good. And I'm sure you have markers of understanding like how to grow and scale. But do you have an average, like a number for student enrollment based on location? What's that kind of look like?
Oh gosh. Well, we have that all spelled out in item 19 in terms of what the average is. And there is a seasonality to it. So I urge the individual to go to that item 19 to see all of that.
Yeah, and it's pretty detailed. You'll get all the information you need there. And if you want to get that information, again, type in the hunt in the comments, fill out the form in the link, and we'll get that conversation going today. And this could very well be the first step of a new adventure for you. Exciting stuff. And I can't thank you enough for your time, for being a part of Fran Opps Live. This has been such a joy for me. I'm excited to continue to work and help such an incredible brand that you are clearly leading so well. So thank you for all you do. Thanks for being a part of this. I can't appreciate you enough, Anne. So good. Friends, as promised, I wanted to show you real quick, just a little bit, leave you with this little, some things that some of the franchisees are currently saying about why they chose Huntington. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
I chose Huntington, one, because it's an education-related franchise, and that was what I was interested in doing. Two, because it has the best model for what we're doing here. It is the Rolls-Royce of tutoring.
We did actually a cold call on a Huntington. From the minute that we entered that center, the level of care, it was obvious that it's not just a business, that it is, it's about the kid.
I really liked what they had to offer as far as the program that they were using with the kids, the support that they would give the franchisee. So that's what really made me decide to go with Huntington.
We have everything that you need in one place, and parents really appreciate that.
Education and giving each child the best education possible, seeing the light bulb go off in their minds when they get those results, it's so rewarding.